say, you might call the Jewish experience of being on the other side. And so it's very much, I would say, a core of my identity. Was formed in that period.
So many things I could go. I mean, I wanted to talk about you and Julian Roberts and others, but I wanted to stay with the notion of politics. When you look at Israel today, are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Are you...
I'm distressed.
Distressed?
Yes. And I think many people in Israel must be distressed.
Because of the failure of the peace
process? Because of the failure of the peace process.
And where it may be heading now.
And where it is heading. And you know, unless Sharon manages to play a Nixon in, you know, in opening up with China, in other words, maybe he could actually have.
The only problem with that is Nixon had Mao, and you don't know who
the trouble is you don't have a counterparty that you can deal with, and that's the problem. So it's not really in the cards, and therefore I think Israel is going to go through a very difficult period. I mean, it's very troubling.
But I mean, my sense is that you're more, and it's more than difficult. I mean, you worry about war. Do you worry about the survival of Israel?
In a funny way, I've not been very engaged in Israel.
Why not?
I think there are enough Jews to take care of Israel. So I thought that I'd just leave the other Jews. And so I'm a little bit distant.
You stayed in Eastern Europe and Asia and other places.
Yes, because I felt that there are fewer people ready to get engaged there.
Of all the people you mentioned, you don't know Putin, but I wouldn't put him in this category, and this will be my last question. Who have you wanted to meet? Who would you most like to know, dead or alive?
Well, actually, I rather liked the idea of Keynes, but you know,
what?
Keynes, John Maynard.
Oh,
Keynes,
John Maynard Keynes, the economic philosopher.
You know, but I read a very nice biography by Roy Harrod, and it really appealed to me. Of course, his homosexuality came out afterwards, so I don't aspire to every aspect of his existence. But But
did you agree with his economic ideas, if not his sexual preference?
Yes, I'm very much influenced by them.
Yeah.
And you know, I'd like.
But his idea was that government investment was a positive contribution to the economy.
Well, he had actually a very good prescription for the situation that prevailed then. And had he, you know, then of course the Keynesian economics had its own limitations. Right. Had he stayed alive, he would have changed the prescription to meet the conditions. But
which is
I
your
think
theory?
I was very much influenced by him.
George Soros, I thank you very much for being here. And I thank the television audience at home for joining us here at the 92nd Street Y. This is a place where interesting conversation takes place routinely. Some of the most interesting people in the world come here to talk, whether it is a songwriter like Paul McCartney or a diplomat like Henry Kissinger or a financier like George Soros and a philanthropist. People come here to share their ideas to an engaged audience, and we who are part of this community appreciate the fact that this takes place at the 92nd Street Y. So to the audience across America, thank you very much. Let me say, The Open Society Reforming Global Capitalism is George Soros' book. Thank you for joining us at home, and good night.
One day, training for every job on Earth
will be available on the internet.
Are you ready?
Virtually all internet traffic travels across the systems of one company, Cisco Systems, empowering the internet generation.
Funding for Charlie Rose is made possible by Amazon.com, your online source for everything from books, music, and toys to videos, electronics, and tools.
Brought to you by the new Toyota Prius. Part gas, part electric. Nature should definitely approve.
Charlie Rose is also made possible by these funders.
And by Bloomberg, a provider of multimedia news and information services worldwide.
To order Charlie Rose program transcripts and video cassettes, call 1-800-ALL-NEWS or write to the address on your screen. Please indicate show date and guest.
This is PBS.